Happy Boxing Day! Well, Christmas is over and dark nights are ever present, with the lights on our Christmas trees fading, and the pitch black future in sight. Sorry, is this getting a little bit depressing? My bad. I'm just trying to set up the fact that on today's video, I am going to be exploring what it might look like if the partners from Digimon Adventure 02 could use the Digimental of Darkness to dark Armor Digivolve. Hello everybody, happy Boxing Day. I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas, and I do wonder why it's called Boxing Day. Not because of you! Yeah, I see you. I see you. So yes, as I hinted at so subtly earlier in this week, today we are going to be looking at what dark Armor Digivolutions might look for the Digimon Adventure 02 partners. We already know the Digimental of Darkness does exist in the old card game and WonderSwan games, though it was only ever used to give rookie Digimon armor or champion evolutions, rather than giving unique darkness armors in the card game, and in the Tag Tamers video game it only protected against holy damage. But we can fix that. Tag Tamers does also feature Digimental of Desire, Guts, and Vanity, but we never saw so much as images for these, so it's really hard to fabricate armors based on them as we have no reference point at all. But if enough of you want to see it, I could try and explore Armor Digivolution for the other Digimentals in a future video. In my head, the scenario for this would come about from the Digimon Emperor finding or being given his own Digimental of Darkness by a dark force like a possessed Oikawa, and would each week transform the 5 main 02 Digimon into their dark armor forms, perhaps requiring either a team up with a past Digidestined or one of the 02 kids to find their second Armor Digimental to defeat him. And yes, even Wormmon is not going to be left out of these proceedings, because let's say the Digimon Emperor, in desperation after having used the Digimental of Darkness on all the other partners, decides to use Wormmon for an evil Digivolution. He's just sat around anyway, and it would lead beautifully into the Digi-Egg of Kindness later on. But Karn, you might be thinking, in a lot of these possible evolution videos, you tend to rely on Digimon that already exist. But there's barely any Armor Digimon that look dark or evil, and certainly none of them that resemble the Digimental of Darkness, enough to fit your exacting standards for Dark Digivolution. That, if you're not familiar, being that I want to see the Digimental in the design and that I want to see the original rookie Digimon underneath it. They can be elongated, twisted, warped, but they have to be there. That is true, and that is why I paid artists to design all 6 of the dark armor forms you're going to be seeing in this video. But that many commissions does cost money, and that is why I'd like to thank today's sponsor, ZeninTCG. Stick around for a little bit later in the video for information on some amazing deals you can get with Zenin. For Veemon's armor, I called upon the talents of HLR Art, who I featured in my Digimon Adventure Armors video, and they pulled it off with aplomb. This Veemon Dark Armor Digivolution I have christened Venomdramon. Its body elongated and warped to have a pose halfway between Flamedramon and Raydramon, but encased in the Digimental of Darkness, it forming a gooey hide around Veemon with the globe of the Digimental of Darkness forming pustules all over its body. I can imagine these emitting dark energy as he attacks and while he spits poison. I love how much of the Veemon body you can see here. It almost feels wrong to see an Armor Digivolution with this much flesh exposed, which I think adds to how horrifying it is. And continuing that theme, also designed by HLR Art, is Hawkmon's Dark Armor Digivolution, Strixmon. This has similarities to Venomdramon, with the Digimental forming like the Venom symbiote on its body with some exposed bone. But for this design we also took inspiration from the Native American creature the Wendigo to match Hawkmon's Native American inspiration, as well as various evil and ghostly birds across different mythologies, including its namesake, the Strix or Striges, who in Greek folklore are vampire women who transform themselves into birds of prey to attack people. And in Roman mythology, the Strix is a demon named for the screech owl that would drain children's blood. A suitably grisly bird-based inspiration, I think. I also particularly like how it carries the Darkness Digimental Orb in its talons. Then, for Armadillomon, I commissioned Alltrade, who designed our Taumon Dark Digivolution for the Tamers Dark Digimon video, and also designed some really awesome pieces you can check out on their Twitter. This Digimon they've christened Metal Theriamon draws inspiration from Skull Greymon, and the name comes from the extinct giant sloth. Alltrade envisioned this as the armor bursting out from within Armadillomon, with muscle-like tendrils piloting piloting the body and ruining Armadillomon's shell. I think this is an incredibly striking design that wonderfully combines the Dark Digivolution of Skull Greymon with a really fresh take on the Digimental of Darkness, and I'm sure Alltrade will be able to fill in more details in the comments below or on their Twitter as to their design inspiration for this. Next, for Patamon's Dark Evolution, I asked Soruu for help. Soruu designed Hawkmon, one of our channel mascots, and Soruu is also a channel member. For Patamon's Dark Armor, I wanted to see somewhat elements of both its Pegasusmon/Godramon side and its Angemon line side, but of course with darkness infused. As such, I gave Soruu the jumping off point of the Nukkalavi, a horse-like demon of Orcadian mythology, which takes a form similar to a centaur but with a full horse head too. As such, Soruu ended up with this, a Nukkalavi and centaur-inspired Patamon armor with the Digimental of Darkness forming armor and blades, as well as the globe forming pustules, a headpiece, teeth, and spider eyes among other things that I have christened Keshimon, after Keshi, the horse demon of Indian mythology. I did consider Nukkalavimon or Nukkemon, but it just sounded kinda off and didn't quite hit the ear right, so while Keshi wasn't necessarily the main inspiration for the name, I think it works better, and often Digimon's names, etymologies, and designs come from multiple sources anyway. Some other details I adore here are Soruu inverting the Digimental of Hope, much like how satanic imagery inverts the crucifix, and also the inclusion of the bat symbols you see in the Veemon line on the feet, this showing that connection and potential fine line between Angemon and Veemon. I love this design because it feels so familiar to Patamon, Pegasusmon, and Angemon, and yet is also super original and scary. So yeah, if you're enjoying this art so far, I was only able to get these commissions because of today's wonderful sponsor, ZeninTCG. ZeninTCG is a Digimon community-focused seller of all kinds of Digimon goods from Japan. I love working with Zenin because they have such a love for Digimon and absolutely adore getting the things that my community and the wider Digimon community want. And if you're watching this on the day it releases, December 26th, Zenin is having a huge Boxing Day sale, with restocks on the Digimon VB dim card file, the Volume 3 and Mad Raw dim cards, the special edition Yellow Digimon VB with Ancient Warriors Veemon dim card. How appropriate to have the Veemon dim card with today's video. The Black Digimon VB and the Digivice V are also all on sale while stocks last. And the Digimon dim card holster. You saw all the discounts on screen, but make sure to check out those links to get yourself a steal before these bargains run out. Thank you so much to ZeninTCG for sponsoring this video, one of my favorite sponsors. And let's get to Gatomon and Wormmon's Dark Armor evolutions. For Gatomon, I commissioned Capnii, who was one of the artists who drew Wormmon, the other mascot for this channel. We wanted to keep the Egyptian focus to this corrupted armor form similar to Nefertimon, but I also thought it would be interesting to tie into Dagomon, as Dagomon does somewhat resemble the Digimental of Darkness, and of course, Kari has a lot of plot, some of it abandoned, with the Dark Ocean, which would feel like a natural tie-in to her partner Dark Digivolving in any way. Capnii took inspiration from the Egyptian goddess Bast and turned Gatomon's body into something more resembling Black Gatomon to reflect Bast's coloration. You can see the elements of Dagomon in here alongside that Bast imagery, and I love how the Digimental forms both armor and these things which almost feel like veins, like they're pumping poison into this dark cat. And I really do like that it feels like it goes alongside Keshimon, much like Nefertimon looks like a pair with Pegasusmon. I didn't ask Soruu or Capnii to make them a matching pair, but I think they still look good side by side. And finally, our Wormmon Dark Armor was drawn by Dry, who also did our amazing new channel banner, which I don't think I've actually shown off in a video before, only in community posts, but look at this. This banner is incredible and there are so many details you can see in there. For this, we wanted to lean heavily into the bug elements of Wormmon, but also both agreed a great way to utilize the Digimental of Darkness would be if it took over Wormmon's body, like the Ophiocordyceps unilateralis fungus that infects ants and slowly infests their entire body, taking it over and turning it into essentially a zombie, which then assists in the transmission of the parasitic fungus to more ants and other creatures. As such, we have called this horrific creature Ophiomon, coming from that parasite, but also the Ophion wasp and Orpheus, who attempted to rescue Eurydice from Hades. I adore how Dry incorporated the Digimental as these visor-like goggles, in addition to the armor and gems on the hands, but also with this spider-like web thread spilling out from the hands and pinning it to the floor, but also giving it the ability to ensnare its enemies. Another funny coincidence is that this dark armor form being called Veemon ties into the fact that in Dry's native Portuguese, Ofio means the string or the wire. We didn't even intend that. That was two separate ideas that accidentally came together really well with that whole web/string idea to this parasitic dark armor. And that's it, Dark Armor Digivolutions for the main Digimon Adventure 02 cast, but I am far from done exploring this idea. So if you like this video, please do let me know by liking, subscribing, and commenting down below. I am totally open to doing more commissions like this, whether it be for auxiliary heroes like Willis and Michael, the original adventure cast, or anything else. Let me know what you most want to see explored with original art in the comments down below. I just adore making videos like these with original art from these artists. It feels so good to be able to both support Digimon artists and show new ideas that hopefully not many people have ever explored before. So thank you to all the wonderful artists whose links are all in the description down below. Please do support them, get a commission from them. Also in the comments, let me know which of these 6 Dark Armor Digivolutions are your favorites. I'd really like to hear your opinions on these, but of course, please do be nice about it. And to today's sponsor, ZeninTCG, for making it possible. Please do cop yourself a bargain from Zenin to, I guess, thank them for making sure that I could afford to commission all these artists. And thank you to my absolutely phenomenal Sovereign ZDK14, who has been a constant light and support for this channel, and my delightful Dava NQG420, as well as all the other people whose names you can see on screen right now. Remember, you can become a channel member for like $2 and get early access to all my videos. There are 2 videos left before 2021 ends, but I have got so much more to show you in the new year. So until then, I will see you next time when we go digital. Bye bye.